The law of relativity states that nothing can be determined to be good or bad until it has been experienced and compared to something else. In other words, things in our physical world are made real by their relationship or comparison to something else. Everything is neutral. We as humans attach meaning and emotion to experience. This is part 9 of a 12-part series about ancient mystical teachings called the universal laws or Hermetic Principles. Many believe that by harnessing the universal principles, you can achieve inner peace, a deeper connection to the universe, and a greater understanding of yourself. In my Soul Artist series of courses, among other topics, we explore the universal laws. We use our art journals to examine each principle. The law of relativity provides soul artists with inspiring material as they create art journal pages about this universal principle. For example, artistically conveying the idea that we create the movie of our life, that we have the capacity to choose to respond at the highest level, showing that we are meaning makers who always have choice. Artists can illustrate the concept of everything being neutral, that we determine our reaction to events. Abstract artists are often inspired by philosophical and quantum physics concepts of relativity, such as celestial bodies in motion or the notion that space and time are not separate. Alexander Calder evoked some of these ideas with his innovative work featuring floating elements, suggesting existences outside the physical boundaries of earthly laws. Charles Adams said, "Normal is an illusion. What is normal for the spider is chaos for the fly." Things in our lives have meaning because we give them meaning. I now live in the desert after living in colder climates. To me, a 65-degree day now seems rather chilly, but when I was living in New York or Ohio, I would have considered a 65-degree day shorts and t-shirt weather. It's all relative. The law of relativity explains that things are understood in relation to something else. Darkness is understood in comparison to light. Cold exists in contrast to heat. Everything we experience is neutral, and we determine our reaction or non-reaction. In every life situation we encounter, we make choices in how to respond. We can always choose to change our typical reaction to an event. When someone pushes our buttons, we have a choice of how we will react, or if we will react at all. Nobody makes us sad. Nobody makes us angry. Nobody hurts us with what they say. Our reaction is determined by the choice we make, which can be conscious or unconscious, but it's still a choice. We can choose to be sad or not. We can choose to be angry or not. We can choose to be hurt by someone else or not. It's entirely up to us. One of my spiritual teachers taught me that we can always choose to respond at the highest level. So everything is neutral. We determine the effect the event will have on us. This law helps us realize that there are multiple points of view for everything that happens around us. Doctors Deepak Chopra and David Simon wrote a book called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Yoga. They explain a law of detachment that contains elements of this law of relativity. Instead of struggling against situations, they teach that we can embrace uncertainty, detach, and release conflict. If I'm faced with a life lesson, I can make the choice to be miserable about it and embrace a victim mentality. And when I choose that mentality, I'm making the choice to be a victim. On the other hand, I can look at the situation from a higher perspective and just detach, or ask, what can I learn from this experience so it doesn't happen again? How can I gain wisdom from this occurrence? Dr. Wayne Dyer said, and I love this quote so much, it's on the back cover of my book, "If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You have a choice, and every choice provides a different outcome, a different experience." Imagine the universe as a mirrored screen projecting our thoughts and beliefs back to us. The movie of our life plays out on the screen when our movie includes divine emotions such as loving kindness, joy, compassion, equanimity. Those are the images that are reflected back to us. This law inspires us to make the movie of our life fulfilling so that we accomplish what our heart desires the most. The law of relativity also helps us understand that each of us experiences a set of life challenges for the purpose of personal growth and evolution. Teachers often remind us that nothing in life is given to us that we are unable to cope with or endure. When we view our struggles with perspective, we understand trials as relative. Regardless of how challenging life might seem at times, there is always someone dealing with far more. To put the law of relativity into action on a practical level, stay conscious of broader perspectives and alternate interpretations of life situations. Thanks to the soul artists who shared their work for this video.